This is our common home, our planet, the place that holds all the water, air, and minerals that sustain life as we know it. It is also the place in which all the people you care about live. Our planet is a closed system. We do not receive or lose a significant amount of material resources from the exterior, with the exception of the energy from the sun. And yet, we overuse our non-replaceable resources, pollute and spoil our common home, and underuse the available energy from the sun. Hello, my name is Luis Rodriguez, an associate professor of finance at ITESO, the Jesuit University of Guadalajara, Mexico. And I will use the time of this video to talk about the need for urgent action. To invite you to listen the call from the earth and exclude it, to follow the call from the Pope Francis expressed in Laudato Si, and the call from the United Nations and the Sustainable Development Goals. I invite you to change the way in which businesses are done in the world and to give the profession you love a new, meaningful perspective. Let's start talking about our current part of development. Throughout the 20th century, humanity made incredible progress in lengthening life expectancy, as well as reducing poverty and inequality to historically low levels that allowed remarkable improvements in people's quality of life. These accomplishments were due to several science-based processes that include vaccination and other public health measures, the advances in medical science, but also the generalization of free trade and the emergence of the digital economy, among other economic events. However, these processes produce some drawbacks, such as the intensive use of fossil fuels and the unsustainable exploitation of renewable resources. All of this ending in what has become an awful example for the world and the next generation. That is, it would seem from an outside perspective that becoming an affluent country is synonymous with being a polluting country. An analysis by Ritchie and Rosser, published by Our World in Data, shows that 49% of the world's population living in the low, medium, and low-income countries produce only 14% of the global carbon dioxide or CO2 emissions worldwide in a year, while the 51% of the world's population living in the high and upper middle income countries generates 86% of the global CO2 emissions in a year. Moreover, the high-income countries, which account for only 16% of the world's population, produce 38% of the global CO2 emissions. Notice that a key issue of sustainability is social inclusion for everyone in the world. Then, if we want to improve the quality of life of the entire inhabitants of this planet using the business as usual model, that is, using the current relationship of income and pollution, we will end up with an environmental disaster. For instance, with information for Our World in Data, during 2019, China produced 28% of the world's CO2, with 19% of the world's population, with a per capita per year CO2 emissions similar to Europe, but less than half of the United States. If China would follow a development pattern similar to the United States, the CO2 generated would be around 63% of the global pollution in 2019. So, we need to think about another way in which we improve the quality of life for all. That doesn't mean to stop the will of underdeveloped countries to get better living standards, or to destroy the material accomplishment of rich countries, but to work together for the world to reach sustainable living standards, reaching some sort of convergence in the long term. We need to make some changes in our path of development, and that starts with ourselves. Allow me to give you some ideas. First, work with our individual patterns of consumption and production in a green and more inclusive way. Prefer renewable energy sources. Buy smart. Reuse and recycle. Try to inspire others to do the same. This is a great start. However, it is not enough. The crisis we face has passed the point in which we can reverse the damage done to our world and our people just by changing our individual consumption patterns. We need to compound our efforts. So, we also need to change the way in which businesses are conducted. Do it directly if you can, via innovation and sustainable entrepreneurship. Or if you work for a large corporation, try to influence others that may listen to you. And ourselves, as members of the university, our job, as required by the white paper of the new inspirational paradigm, is to generate new knowledge via research that transform the way in which businesses are conducted, and to help raise awareness and provide a framework for reflection on the role each student plays in being part of the solution.